make or miss league, baby. That's it.
By the way, want to make sure we shout out Sean McDonough, Steve Levy, Linda Cohn, the whole Bucci, the whole gang. NHL's back. By the way, look, always. You got to look away. Yeah, here. WNBA playoff, Sky Sun.
Lefty.
Watch the look away here from Candace Parker. Zach, what do you think?
Lefty, Candace Parker can do it all. She can do everything. WNBA playoffs have been awesome. Everybody should be tuning in. These games have been fantastic. We're going to talk about Diana later.
That angle, that last angle was just wicked. Just a wicked pass. Oh, man.
Yeah. Next, Miss Hesitancy. Kind of like me on this highlight reel. The dance that's sweeping the country, the Smeeze. Brian, how would you rate Dame Smeeze and how it compares to York?
I didn't even know what it was called, but I'm not saying anything about dancing when it comes to Dame. He can dance me under the table.
Look, I'm not averse to dancing around my kitchen, dancing at weddings, dancing around my living room, but I'm not going to critique Damian Lillard's
Yes, you
dancing.
are.
Let's put it that way. I've seen myself in the mirror dancing, so I'm just going to say, good job, Dame.
Well, I think you both could spit bars, though, like Dame. Now, not the rap game bars, but podcast bars. Shout out to the Hoop Collective and, of course, the Low Post. Next, make changes. Here's some video from our Jessica Showbar. She took it of Clay getting shots up. He's wearing a headband, and the last time he wore a headband was in the second half of that Chicago game back in 2018 when he dropped 52 points on 14 threes. So, Zach, you think headband Clay is here to stay?
Klay Thompson contains multitudes. There are so many Clays. There's headband Clay, swimming Clay, scaffolding Clay, Oklahoma City killer Clay. Every Clay is amazing. I just want any Clay, healthy Clay. Give me Clay.
The video, the footage of him swimming in the San Francisco Bay, just looking back away from his boat, I don't know if that's hilarious or crazy or a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both, I would say. All right, let's shift to the Bay Area where Clay was swimming, where Steph Curry addressed the haters who doubted him last season after missing most of the 2019-20 season with a hand injury. Steph returned with a vengeance, putting up historic numbers and leading the league in scoring, averaging 32 points in 63 games. Yesterday, Steph told Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine on SiriusXM NBA Radio how it felt to silence all the noise with his play. Let's take a listen.
I mean, there was a moment at the beginning of last year, before the Portland game in the 62, that I heard a lot of noise and I heard a lot of talk about who I wasn't and we were going to get exposed and I was going to get exposed and all that type of stuff. I definitely took pride in, shutting that up. But it's also the realization that when you're in the fight and every year you're, in that chase to the mountaintop and trying to, win championships, I might get it more than other people just because I wasn't supposed to be here.
So, Wendy, Steph says he took pride in shutting up the haters. What are your expectations for the Warriors this year?
I'm not, obviously Steph Curry's a guy who's taken criticism, rightly or wrongly, in his career. I think the Warriors and Steph were what they thought they were last year because we thought he'd be great. He was. He almost won the scoring title, and he led a team that fought till the bitter end but wasn't quite up to snuff without Klay Thompson. And so this year I think that they will be better because they're going to have Klay back. But we've got big questions. We don't know how much Andrew Wiggins is going to play. We don't know how much they're going to get from their young guys. But I do know that Steph Curry will be great. Those are things that we do know, and I don't care what anybody says. He's an all-time great player. He was an all-time great player 5 years ago. He was an all-time great player last year. He'll be an all-time great player this year.
Zach, this feels, we saw the roster and the way it looked like right there. You got this split between these young guys and the older guys. How do you try to balance that if you're the Warriors?
I think the Warriors have a really high ceiling. If everything hits right for them, I think they can actually challenge to get out of the Western Conference. Let's leave aside the obvious, right? They need Klay and they need Andrew Wiggins, who's not vaccinated yet, reportedly, and hasn't played. I think the biggest challenge for them beyond that is they're going to need something out of the Otto Porter, Nemanja Bjelica veteran crew that didn't do all that much last season for anybody, and the kid crew of Moody, Kuminga, and Wiseman. That's 5 guys Like, you're not getting that deep into your rotation before you're relying on some of those guys. And I think that's the biggest wild card. If they can get production out of those guys, you can throw in Andre Iguodala if you want because of his age. They could be a really dangerous team, but there are a lot of ifs that have to go right for them. One thing that is not an if, though, as Brian said, is Steph Curry's a first-team All-NBA player last year, this year, the year before, the year after. The guy's a god.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Although those young guys, and maybe this is recency bias since I did some of his games at Summer League, I feel like Moody, the kind of the 3-and-D type player, could potentially help them maybe a little faster than some of those other young guys on this particular roster. That's just me.